I have to send you the video for this woman that
Uh,
my wife loves on YouTube. She basically she criticizes adults on YouTube, but she talks to them like they're children. You
Ah,
know, so
perfect.
like she like someone makes a racist comment, you know, or something, you know, it's like okay, catch a bubble, okay, we'll put that. That's a thought. We don't want to say that's a thought. We'll put that aside. And
Audience, welcome back to another high energy introduction for Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum's The Darkholds, Episode 4, Season 1.5. This episode will only be 2 or fewer hours. We have returned for the finale of this mini season before we come back for Season 2 at an unknown but hopefully soon point in the future. We left off in the previous episode with Velamris Quineel discovering the magic of whatever we ended up calling the holiday when
Sanguinala or something like that.
Sanguinalia. Yes. The magic of Sanguinalia when he approached the sacred flames and in burning himself discovered a man not unlike himself burning forever in sacred flames. And then he was covered in their blood and was healed of his afflictions of the soul. But now he has forever lost his distinctive undistinctiveness and instead has distinct distinctiveness.
You managed to get all of that out on the first try. I must
Yeah,
commend you.
and I made it up on the spot. I didn't have to pre-write that one. There's plenty of pre-written stuff later. You'll know because I'll be looking at my notes like this, going, yes. And then there was Benezia and Teresia. Rassie van Lucht discovered the magic of killing people together with other people when he began the purge of the Darkholds, leading troops, including Velamris, on a sort of murder spree. And this was all instigated by Holly going, yeah, we should prove our loyalty to the ship by killing the unclean. That's basically what happened last episode. We begin this episode with the rogue traitor holding a bolt gun, firing wildly while screaming for someone to bring him a magazine. The other members of his retinue around him are all fighting and firing. He is on the Darkwind, and we can see that a squad of 5 Chaos Space Marine Plague Marines are advancing on him. And someone, like, cracks a Whippets energy drink and tosses it to the rogue trader, who then... And he's like, very good then, crew! Let's continue on! We just have to defeat them! And someone's like, this must be the navigator's problems. And someone's like, it is time! The sisters Benezia and Teresia! This feud must end! And the rogue trader goes, rightly so then! Let us advance further into this plague-infested warp! And the camera cuts out of the Darkwind, which we can see is having Geller field fluctuations, and moves through a strange 1970s technoscope of horrifying madness, screaming demons, blood, into just a ship that's slightly further to the right through all of that, and does like a real punch-in on the light of dawn. And we see someone wearing a I don't want to say an adepta robe. What do they call the engine seer? There's an engine seer who's got a little name tag that says, hello, my name is Xander0110. And he appears to be, he's got like 2 light sticks, and then his robot arm has a 3rd light stick, and he's directing the survivors of the Darkholds on where to go. And he's like, you here, you here, you here, and then it's down to just the Japester, and Xander0110 like starts crying and like embraces him in a hug, and the Japester is like, what is wrong, Xander0110? And he goes, my brother, I have heard what you have done. Had you been born anywhere but the Darkholds, you would have been an honored member of our brethren, but for too long you have been tainted by exposure to heresy and heretic. And the Japester begins walking with this man as he begins leading him further down the corridor. We can see that one of the groups of people, mostly small, scrawny, or dirty-looking people are all being led towards what's obviously an airlock. They don't know what's happening, but as the servitor presses the button, and they're like, "Oh, we're just waiting in this room," and we hear, and then the warp is outside, and these people get sucked directly out into the warp, screaming for the rest of their lives.
Oh wow!
The Japester and Xander 0110 continue down the corridor, and we can hear some people going, "No, I don't want to be a servitor! No, please, no!" And then like weird, squishy, wet noises for a little while.
Excited drilling noises.
Drilling noises.
And Xander goes, "These fates are not for you. You are too old, set in your ways, to become a priest, too tainted by the darkness and evil, and your body is too frail to become a servitor, but instead I offer you a most honored gift. It will be swift." And the Japester says, "I knew my end would be coming soon. How swift will it be?" And the guy just injects him with a syringe, and the Japester collapses, and then his whole, like, imagine someone's entire bone structure disappeared, and just a pile of what was left would sit on the floor. And Xander goes, "Very fast, very quickly. It will affect you very quickly."
I'm thinking of that scene in Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's probably a good approximation.
Hold on.
Human Torch.
Oh, yes, Cassandra. I was like, something with Wolverine's bones at the beginning of the movie?
No.
I don't remember that. No. He was beating people with them, right?
Yes, he was, but that's not the scene I was referring to.
Yes, it took me a while to catch up to that. Wow. The post-credit scene on that movie was pretty good.
So good.
I want to say, I've been spoiled that Chris Evans was in the movie, is all I'm going to say. I wasn't spoiled about his appearance, so I was genuinely like, interesting.
Unfortunately, there was too many YouTube clips before I watched the movie, but I definitely watched the movie too and enjoyed what I saw anyway.
I was surprised. The last fight was not spoiled for me at all. I was genuinely like, based on the dialogue of the story, I'm not shocked that this is how it turned out. I am surprised no one spoiled this for me. We cut back to once again, Velamris is with a priest, and he's just like examining the side of your face, putting some like balm there, and he says, "My son, you appear to have weathered your time in the sacred flames well. The divine saint Sister Dawn would be proud to see you marked in such a way through fire and blood. But your story about this man burning, well, put up on some sort of crucifixion, it is not does not ring any bells in our religion that I can think of. No historical event matches this. It is known that if this is indeed some vision of Sanguinius, it is not the man himself. Instead, this must be a great work of the Emperor to guide you on a journey." He puts two hands on your shoulders and says, "You must figure out for yourself what the vision means."
I believe I have a good starting point. Something of loyalty and sacrifice.
Yes,
through all of it,
all have loyalty and sacrifice.
Through all of that, these ideas, these ideals have resonated and remained most profound. I don't think this balm will do much. I think this mark is perhaps some sign of a covenant, but whatever will heal will heal. Whatever will remain will remain.
Perhaps it is a covenant, but if it is not, my son, do not in arrogance think yourself higher than you are. I am certain that the purpose of the mark will reveal itself in time.
think Velamris absolutely agrees. Like he's trying, like he doesn't see himself as any bigger or better or whatever. He's just thankful to have been cleansed, but now kind of feels like he's got a change in purpose.
We cut back. The rogue trader, his gun gets knocked out of his hand by a backhand from an enormous plague marine who starts to try to breathe on him, and someone nearby is like, "Flamer!" The plague marine like, and then makes what was that game called? Warpgate Chaos Bane or something, where the plague marines are always like numbers. He makes generic Chaos Space Marine noises. That's,
A pox upon you,
Captain Valeria Stormrider. Like we pull the camera back. Captain Valeria Stormrider is the one with the flamer, and she goes, "My lord, continue to retreat. I shall put the sacred flame on this baneful creature." And we see a man pull up beside the rogue trader, and he goes, "Ah, Seneschal Ticonderoga, you've come. If you would, please, the number 3 adamantium." And the Seneschal goes, "Of course, my lord, a fortuitous choice." And he, like, goes through a golf bag and, like, hands him something, and he pulls out a power sword, and the rogue trader's like, "Ha! I haven't felt this good since the last time I was killing greenskins! Have at you, Chaos Space Marines!
Adamantium.
The number 3 adamantium. It's perfect for this situation.
I love it.
You wouldn't use a number 1 adamantium. It doesn't have enough reach. You can't get close.
No, I'm just picturing this golf cart pulling up in the middle of a firefight with Chaos Marines. He's just like, "Give me the number 3 iron, please." And it's a power sword.
Every rogue trader needs a good Seneschal.
Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't read the Angry Marines Codex, you should definitely read that, because my favorite piece of war gear is the adamantine bag of power. The adamantine bag of power doorknobs. That's it.
Sorry, power doorknobs?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, the adamantine sack of power doorknobs. That's it.
Okay, and this does what exactly?
What it says on the tin, obviously.
Oh, this is some fine British here.
We cut back to Rassie Van Lucht. Rassie, you have an unenviable task. Now that you have helped purge and clean the Darkholds, of course another Darkhold somewhere is going to open up at some point. That's not your task. Your task is to turn these flame-obsessed militia troops into a credible replacement for an entire regiment of elite jump infantry. You have 3 sergeants to accomplish this task. How would you like to start approaching it on day 1 of training?
Is Velamris, would he make himself available for, or
He
is
just
he gonna
got
go do his own thing?
getting career counseling from a priest while also being on fire.
Yeah, I mean, he would show up as soon as he's physically able to. He might still have a bandage that he's not too, like, if anything, he's more hesitant. He's constantly wanting to take it off. He feels like it's useless and not really doing anything for him.
So we've the first stage of this is it's basically like a trial. He's going to put all these people through he's already worked with them before, so he's seen the ones who were previously appointed leaders. But now he wants to try to see which of these people have the restraint to lead. So he's putting them through stressful over physical training to see who can rise above in that capacity.
Is this a montage?
A training montage?
Yes.
It sounds like it is.
All right. I think I want a leadership role of some kind.
Okay.
There's definitely skills in this game. I don't remember what they are, but they exist for sure.
I'll spend a fate point to give myself advantage.
I want to assume it involves tires at alternating. So you have to high knee your way in between each of them while carrying 40 kilograms of gear.
It definitely involves staying bush.
I like the idea that maybe he's gotten permission to use like the void side of a hangar for the ship isn't where the ship currently, the landers aren't currently positioned to leave and come, so it's just open. And he's putting them in like groups of 4, and they have to lug a large chunk of something, some sort of horrifically heavy tire equivalent, and then halfway through,
I
like,
was gonna say, what if they just
you're a
haul
casualty.
the landers?
It's like while they're partway through, like him and the sergeants are running me like, you're a casualty now. Bring him and the rest, and it's like trying to see who can keep it, who's stepping up to keep things going, and trying to find, because he wants the leaders who are going to stay calm and are going to step up when things are getting out of control. So that's his first goal, is to overtax these people at the beginning.
Now, before you make this roll, it is the first roll of the session. Historically, you normally, in this group, we spend fate before that roll.
Oh, this, not only have I already subtracted my fate, but I did do the roll with it. First roll of the game, I maintained the tradition.
You already rolled. I see. With a plus 3. All right. Yeah. So.
And advantage.
It almost feels like you're going to be overwhelmed. Like there's 1,000 people and you've broken them up into groups of 4. That's 250 groups, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot of people to handle. And Velamris ends up being surprisingly useful. Like, just having another person to just tell people to run in a line. Sometimes the people just, like, stop or, like, take a break or get a canteen, and Velamris pops up and is like, what are you doing, boy?
Oh, yeah. I like this idea because it's a comedy show, right? I
Yes.
like the idea that, like, in a gantry, because I know he's a marksman. And people aren't expecting him to be walking around. So I have him up in a gantry with his sniper. So if he sees slackers, he wings a shot off of the crap they're supposed to be carrying.
Yeah.
And he's taking notes on groups like, this group was going slow. This group, somebody was really stepping up. Like, from your sniper position, just sort of looking down on them, big brother.
My favorite part about this is that your excuse is that it's a comedy show and not, this is exactly how Imperium training actually is. You're like, oh, hold on, I can't impugn the United States military with this, and I'm like, this sounds like the Imperium. This is not the comedy portion of the show. It's definitely the satire portion of the show for sure.
I think
So this is for sure the first stage of the montage is the excessive suffering, so I can find the leaders that I need.
I think you'll see Velamris is also like a little more motivated than he usually is.
Motivated?
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's like,
I've been listening to the DMC5 soundtrack. You continue. Don't let me interrupt.
Yeah, like, well, just whenever you got Velamris doing something, like when he's up there spotting, slackers or popping up unexpectedly because somebody's like, oh, I'm going to go get some water. I'm like, oh, are you really? Why don't you get back over there and continue your laps? He's just like, there's just a certain extra vibrance or something, a little extra dedication to getting this right or doing the right thing, or maybe even spotting things that Rassie doesn't notice right away.
We cut back to a corridor filled with 500 dead crewmen who have all been brutally murdered by bolter fire or torn apart by spores pulling themselves out of the body. Flames have licked every inch of this corridor, every surface covered in charred black, and we see a navigator woman in a sort of Bene Gesserit style dress who is threatening to expose her eye from beneath an eye patch, is facing down with Captain Valerius Stormrider, the Seneschal Ticonderoga, and of course Road Trader Chaderius Darkwind. The 4 of them form like a weird diamond-shaped formation as the 3 heroes begin moving around her. And we can see that as he's like flexing his sword around, the Rogue Trader's in the mood for some witty banter, and Chaderius goes, "It's a good day to die, Benezia. You've been a real problem for Navigator House Castana for quite some time." Benezia goes, "It has taken me a generation to get the forces needed to kill my sister Teresia, and I'm not going to let you stop me. I will take back House Castana and lead the Chaos forces into a new reign." And the Chaderius goes, "Not on my watch. Ticonderoga, go!" And like Ticonderoga like pulls out a flash grenade and sets it off. Benezia goes, "Ah!" Power sword right through her head. She goes, "Nah!" Chaderius pulls the sword out. Blood goes everywhere. And he's like, oh, that's the thing about an argument with Benezia. She's always one to lose her head. Ticonderoga goes, excellent, my lord. Shall I take the number 3 adamantium from you? We cut back to Sister Holly. Sister Holly, you have a huge amount of paperwork spread before you. All of it is... what did we call the career evaluations? Something interrogation?
Performance interrogation.
Performance
interrogation. Yeah.
Yes. As the acting team leader, you're required to fill out performance interrogations for the entire crew, which includes Luther and the servitor that you brought with you.
Okay.
Once you've completed this task...
Oh, so this is for the clearing of the Darkholds.
Yes, for the clearing of the
evaluation
Darkholds. Once you've completed that task, you are to report to Space Marine Mercutio Borghese for debriefing to explain your thought process and argue for your own merits on how you've solved this situation with your crew.
Okay, no problem. I think, unfortunately, Rassie does get a black mark in his review for failing to make his way down that corridor that got too hot. So, like, his body fell. Well, so his will failed before his body did. So.
Oh, he's not Acadian. That's the problem.
Oh,
Fucking Elysians.
It's just a mark for improvement. Yeah. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're putting him on a PIP real quick. Although
yeah,
the
that's
Imperium,
right.
that's quite dangerous.
That's right. This is not about punishment. This is about constructive feedback. That next time he should push himself until he actually dies, rather than going back and saying, "If I went any further, I would have died."
Oh my. What are you putting in for Luther?
Was he even in there? Was he there?
Not only was he there, but you repeatedly told him to shut up.
yeah.
I think,
We just
You didn't even remember that you told him to shut up.
Yeah, I think that
we
my
took his
report
gun
says,
away and then we shit on him the entire
I
time.
think my report says that I can't evaluate it because he was absent for this mission.
Oh my god!
He was so there and not used. He was not even remembered in the official report.
Oh, poor Luther.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
We cut sideways once again, not into the Darkwind, but to the chain of islands being tugged behind the Darkwind, where we find Magos Ezekiel Sigma 4 seated at a table with Inquisitor Profundus. And the Magos says, "So, you have brought to me this information now that I have wasted dozens of years of time? We have given up our mission for almost 200 years, hiding in my asteroid, waiting for permission to serve the Imperium. And now you tell me that all this time, High Fleet Kronos already exists." Inquisitor Profundus says, "Let me make it very clear for you, Magos. I don't work for you. You work for me. Yes, we have found a strain of tyrannid hive scum that are specifically created in order to hunt and eat Chaos Daemon entities. Yes, your work is no longer needed on this project. Your work is now needed to hunt High Fleet Kronos. Yes, they were formed during the era Indomitus, but that era has been left behind us. With the end of the Plague Wars, now communication has been restored across the Imperium. You are to continue your work at my discretion. What you have so far is truly a stroke of genius. Just because you weren't able to complete the project due to interference from heretics does not mean that everything that has come before is not still useful. Your service to the Imperium is more than just acting as tech support for a small asteroid in the middle of nowhere. This mining colony does not require your services. I do. You will go where I order you." Magos Ezekiel Sigma 4 leans back in his chair and says, "You strain our relationship, Inquisitor. I work for the Omnisire. But this project does intrigue me. This High Fleet Kronos. A breakaway from the Leviathan, you say? A worthy hunt for my Skitarii Rangers. We will see about breaking them away from this hive. If we can tame and breed these beasts as new omnisciic mounts, there is much we could do to distract the forces of heresy and chaos from the Imperium. The Inquisitor stares at him and says, "Good. Just remember, I rank higher than you, because my boss is the Emperor." As he's leaving, the Mago says, "Wait. Just remember, I answer only to the Omniscire." And then the two of them do really Sigma male poses at each other.
Staring fiercely at each other.
We cut back to the three of you and Luther at your... I've already forgotten it. Your performance interrogation. Yes,
Yep.
with Space Marine Assault Captain, Assault Squad member, Mercutio Borghese. He's looking through the paperwork and he says, "Luther, I remember you being there." And Luther goes, "Oh, yes, I was present on the mission." And he like does like a red line cross out on some of the paperwork and then puts a check mark next to it and slides it back across the table. And he says, "Well, Luther, I'm going to need you to revise these parts of the report. You appear to have made a mistake. It says that you weren't present. So re-auto-quill all of this and make sure to document your own presence. You can go." He goes, "Oh, I didn't fill out. I'm not going to argue with you, my lord." He picks up the paperwork and sadly leaves the room. Mercutio stares at the three of you and says, "How do you think you did on this particular mission in the Darkholds? Do you think that your actions truly helped this ship and were of economic, societal, or otherwise some gain in value for the rogue trader?"
A part of the ship has been returned to the core. The bay can be expanded. The damaged piping can be repaired. The infestation there has been dealt with in one way or another, and there are more servitors joining the crew's ranks.
And
I don't see how this is. Yeah, I don't see how this is anything. I don't see any way in which the rogue traders' power base has been anything but positively affected here.
Do you feel that you used all of your assets to their full capacity?
Realizing now that Luther was there, yes, I think so. I think he had no capacity to offer other than meat shield.
And the choir team that was assigned to you?
They didn't come into the Darkholds.
Do you feel that you utilized them to their full capacity as a result?
Yeah, I mean, they were with you mostly, Velamris.
Were they? I don't remember this part.
Before you went into the Darkholds, Holly had just assigned them to follow you around and document your movement.
Oh, the choir?
Yes, the choir.
Yeah, the choir.
Yeah.
Didn't we? I thought we left them outside because
he's saying, did you use all of your assets?
Did we use? No, arguably, if anything, they were there to keep in case anything. I think this is the argument. Let me slip in character here. If anything, my lord, the choir could have been used, was used, in fact, to prevent anything slipping past us and entering the main parts of the ship.
He makes some notes.
I just realized I did fire one round of ammunition.
Did you make sure the Eldari was dead after I definitely shot him in the face?
No, I shot that man in the knee when we first went.
Yes, that's why the security team turned against you, because you committed immediate violence with guns. Yeah. They also didn't understand what guns were.
Yeah, I thought it was magic.
Let's see. What was it my notes actually said? caused chaos or something like that. I forget.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure now that they're spirit spiraling through the warp, they can learn what real magic is.
A horrifying
I'm,
thought.
my lord, I I am certain that given the time, experience, and training far better than my own, there could have been things that I was unaware we could have done. But I think with the capabilities and the things that we know, we went in with a minimal amount of resources to create the minimal amount of risk to the rogue trader. And we utilized assets we found in order to accomplish the tasks that were set forth without drawing any additional support, any additional cost.
Yes, I see. It does seem here, Rassie, that your particular contributions were seen as lacking. Apparently, you were more worried about the frail mortal frame that you occupy than to successfully scout for the mission. It says here you refused orders to go deeper into a heat exchange chamber.
I attempted to see if a path was one that would be viable for us to travel. And given the conditions, it seemed that our deaths would create an ultimate failure in the mission that was more important than any personal consideration or pride.
Following orders is also something to consider in the future. The rogue trader would prefer that your usefulness is not wasted, but sometimes a mortal's use is to complete but a single task that destiny has woven for them.
Yes, my lord.
I'm going to declare this a successful mission for the deployable security and acquisitions team you lead, Sister Holly. And based upon your recent contracture with us as a Famula Advanced, I am willing to see this team continue on through employment. With that said, the Rogue Trader has requested that should you be successful on this particular mission, as I've outlined you already have been, that a way be prepared for you to continue higher up the chain. When we arrive in our destination at Titan's Lair, you are to be given the option for independent action. You'll continue the work that Dinas Katari's team was doing, gathering resources for the Rogue Trader, making sure that the resources he has are utilized in order to benefit the fleet, but you will do so without the guidance of anyone in particular looking over your shoulder. Should your efforts be successful, if you take this optional mission upon yourselves, you will see a promotion to the bridge crew of the Darkwind.
Above board, is that for everybody? Or is that just for Sister
It is
Holly?
for all of your team.
Okay.
Even Luther.
A rising tide.
Luther? Do we want Luther on the bridge?
A rising tide.
Well, I guess we need somebody to go get our drinks.
Oh, jeez.
Somebody has to carry the number 3 adamantium. The seneschal can get the drinks.
He's now our caddy. He carries Rassie's weapon bag around with us.
Hero had a weapon bag, brother.
Yeah.
We also had the thrice locked
chest. I mean, the thrice locked chest already made its appearance in this show.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
At the auction.
Oh, didn't one of the locks come off or something?
No. At the auction much earlier in the show that you had a ticket to go to, it was mentioned that the thrice locked chest is one of the items on sale. So the question here is, would you like to continue as a DSAT, or would you like to act as factors, buying and selling on the credit of the Rogue Trader in the hopes that your actions will result in a positive balance? Failure obviously would be very bad.
I believe the three of us, our three characters, are interested in moving up to the bridge crew, or at least if not the bridge crew, then like one of the immediate groups around the Rogue Trader.
What's your ambition, Velamris? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I mean, Velamris is kind well, so he sees himself at some point or in some way kind of at a crossroads where one path he leads, if he goes down one path, he ends up becoming an assassin of some sort. But I don't think that would be his ideal route because he wants to be a part of the Rogue Traders entourage. And the next best option there would probably be somewhere in the realm of the Arch-Militant. I'm thinking from a Rogue Trader RPG group.
Sure.
That's where he's kind of leaning, and especially with his about to begin movement towards becoming some sort of recognized officially as a knight of some sort. I think the Arch-Militant route is definitely the better direction for him. I know in the past, James has said also for Sister Holly that he wanted her at least on the Rogue Trader ship, if not as part of his bridge crew. I don't want to speak for him, obviously. And I believe Rassie had more or less intimated something along those same lines.
Could I suggest that Holly will suggest that we all go to the commissary to celebrate, and we can talk about what we want to do in character?
Sure.
Perfect. As you go there, we have one more aside. We cut back to the planet of Jovi 5, where there is a small McMansion that has been set up. We can see that servitors outside are setting out fresh bouquets. They're removing yesterday's flowers and putting today's flowers in. One of them is just an Edward Scissorhands that's just trimming hedges outside. We could see that there's a butler by the name of Stanford Jives, according to his little name tag. He's just standing at the front door with a little feather duster, just... And we can hear Margaritaville is playing in the background. And the butler turns and says, yes, everything is perfect just as soon as Imperial Governor Rassie Van Lucht has arrives for his vacation home. Yes, I can't wait to learn what manner of sophisticated man I will serve in this backwater yet spearhead of the Imperium. And in the background we just say, nibbling on sponge cake, watching the sun bake. The butler's like, yes, everything is as it should be.
I think we need like a scene where like the butler gets like a note delivered and he looks at it, and you just have the rack focus where like the butler comes closer but the background moves further away as he reads what's happening.
They do that thing in anime where they fisheye lens the front of your face so that your eyes go further out to indicate he's going insane. We cut back to the commissary where you all are given the Adeptus Sororitas version of celebration. So it's like an unleavened cake, essentially, with like just slightly more nutrient paste and like a little sprinkle of powdered sugar with a single candle in the middle of each. It's like a flat muffin, honestly.
But certainly sacramental wine, though.
Oh, yeah, sacramental wine. Yeah. I mean, Velamris is a big donor. He donated like thousands of not Throne Gelt, Macarian. Macarian Solars. Yeah. So yeah, they definitely break out. Oh, they definitely have some holy man of rank come out and explain to you where it was bottled, like how the vintage was done.
I'm picturing boxed sacramental wine. I don't know why.
No. Not maybe for Sister Holly and Rassie, but for you, no. You have a sommelier come out, and
oh my god,
yeah, a sommelier and a high-ranking priest both come out together in order to wine and dine you. Yes. Also, you get a little cheese board.
Oh, I'm definitely sharing all of this with Holly and Rassie. Like
just cheese, or is it full charcuterie?
No, just cheese. Listen, it's a fancy moment for you all, but this is still a temple ship, not...
I was looking for some miscellaneous meat.
Yeah, we'll
miscellaneous meat?
Some meat, misc.
I don't know what it is, but it's very, very thin.
Ah, I see. James wants scrapple, the Pennsylvania delicacy.
I like that. Prosciutto, salami.
Prosciutto is not a miscellaneous meat, my man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying when you go to a party and there's like a charcuterie board and you can't identify what any of these meats are.
Yeah.
They just slice impossibly
That's
thin and
because
roll up.
sopapressa and mortadella look pretty close together when all you're looking at is parts of a pig.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we digress. So
Before this conversation goes underway, I do want to say that all of the sisters here are respectful of Holly, but there's also definitely some distance between her and them that was not present before yesterday.
And I think that while walking around, Holly has lost the habit now as well.
She's fallen out of the habit.
Yeah,
What a shame.
Is she wearing street clothes now?
You breaking the habit?
Don't we have new like hot Holly art?
But that's season 2. That's season 2 art though. This is a transitionary phase. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
This you see the transition in the bonus, or no, this is the season 1 DVD outtakes.
Yeah, because we don't get a new title sequence until the second season. So
yeah.
This is just the webisodes between the 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The webisode. They don't even make it to the DVD. And you won't hear about it until season 2 launches. Don't forget the season 1 webisodes.
Yeah. So we obviously have a bit to think about with what our Brazen Console friend said. I wanted to start by asking each of you, since it seemed poignant, like, there's what we want to do right now, and there's what we want to do in the future. So, if you chart your life forward in the service of the Emperor, aside from dying in his name, what is it you actually each want to achieve?
Velamris will take that bottle of wine that was brought over, the better one, and he will start pouring 3 glasses. And he says, I first want to enjoy these rewards for our efforts. And then I think it's safe to say that the 3 of us would enjoy positions of authority, or what's the word I'm looking for here? The capability to operate as members of our esteemed rogue traders' entourage, perhaps taking this, as he called it, optional mission as a further test to our capabilities is not such a bad idea. And then he pops a piece of cheese into his mouth, sets the wine glasses in front of you.
Rassie?
I feel it's my responsibility to continue to find a way to serve in the greatest contribution that I can.
And what is that? Like, what if you could be anywhere, where would that be?
Now just remember, as he says this, images of you floating through the skies of Elysia, gently falling to the ground with hundreds of brothers and sisters, all in training in perfect sync, feeling maximum harmony run through your life.
Yeah.
And there's Luther with your bag of goods.
He just like interrupts my dream as he's flailing down. Just like,
we have to have that for the cut, for the comedy side of the show. And here's Luther with a bag of guns.
I would like to see how far these Darkwind drop troopers can go. If this could become bigger, if this can succeed, this could be of a service to the Emperor and the rogue trader. Then, I mean, right now, I want to see it succeed and grow. I understand that the ways that we have served have all been different, and I don't expect. There's a simplicity that I'm going to miss, but I I think that there's a way that I could do more with that.
All right. I mean, look, my own priorities have changed a lot in the past year. A year ago, if you'd asked me where I wanted to be eventually in my life, I would have said, growing fat as an abbess somewhere with purely ceremonial duties to perform. Now I think that I wouldn't truly think I'd accomplished all my life goals with anything less than a warrant of trade and my own ship. But I'm also a realist that these sort of things are not going to simply happen. So I would settle for marrying into a rogue trader household, or failing that, simply serving as the right hand of a rogue trader. That's probably the most realistically achievable goal. Not that I'm putting any other goals out of my mind, but I think it's important to be aspirational and opportunistic. So I simply wanted to get a feel for where you each aspire to be. And it seems to be considerably lower. But good on you for having dreams.
Since coming into the service, the idea of the things that I could do have changed dramatically. And I've tried to make sure that I was able to faithfully execute the things that have ended up being my responsibility when they happened. They've certainly changed my view of what I can do and how I can serve in ways that were absolutely unimaginable before. I think maybe if some more time in this position and seeing how far we go, I'm sure my dreams and the things that I believe that I could do will also grow with them. I'm just not accustomed to seeing anything beyond the jump. This has been a huge change for me. And being able to tolerate it has been in no small part due to your help, sister.
Well, 2 years ago, I lived in a small meditation cell with a pallet bed, a wash basin, and a shrine. And now I'm sitting on the starship, drinking this wine, eating this cheese. I've seen that you've each been through similar changes as well. Imagine where we could be in 2 more years. And let's go and get it.
Velamris will lift the half-drank glass of wine and propose, or he'll lift it in the cheersing fashion, like here, to where can we be in 2 years? Let's go get it.
To our potential.
To our potential.
Before we cut to break, we sideways cut to a Adeptus Mechanicus scribe who is listening to Velamris's audio logs from the Eldari and is re-encoding them back into High Gothic. And it says, like, personal log, day 1 of the Path of the Hospice Nurse. I have arrived here today in order to find some measure of peace in my life. Having abandoned my old path, now I see these humans are beyond saving. One day they will die, and it will be quite soon in my reckoning. They should be made well, having whatever time they have enjoyable. They are wretched, cruel, and locked in what is near perpetual darkness. They have no idea that an entire ship, an entire universe, evolves around them, outside them. I pity these humans, these Mon K, and I only hope that I can continue to serve them well.
You better call it.
Velamris will have zero remorse if he ever finds these logs for having ended this guy's life.
We're going to go on break, and when we come back, it will be the second half, and I didn't say it wrong this time, of the show. As we return for the second half of the show, we see a partially familiar... Do we know this place? Strange orange smog. Everyone has face coverings that include some sort of breathing apparatus. Is this the Adeptus Administratum machine world from the very beginning of the show that we found Velamris on? We see someone take their mask off and say, "This is final warning to Night Quester Paladin Family Vavor. Final notice. We are attempting to reach you about the extended warranty on your family's Knight. We have not heard back from you in 20 standard Terran years. Please contact us immediately so that we can enact maintenance on your machine. Otherwise, your family's Knight will be reclaimed by the High Lords of Terra. Again, this is your final notice."
I'm just waiting for Velamris to show up and see this notice and be like, "It's a scam."
This isn't the scam, it's real.
No, I know.
We cut to the three of you making your way through a strange bazaar on board the ship. You've been in these halls before. Of course, the floors are not ceramite or adamantium or any of the normal materials.
Are they lava?
No, they're wax. They're made of the candle wax that is used to light the way through here. Hundreds of years of candle wax has settled into a weird, kind of slimy, moldy, slightly compacted floor. We could see people are selling charms, figurines, everything you need in order to bless the living saint Don Latenya, iconography of other living saints. As he walks, there is a contentiousness. Sister Holly knows this better than most, but all of you have heard that the Sisters of Battle, the Adeptus Sororitas, have in recent years had a sort of straining relationships with other factions within the Imperium. Of course, there is the whole business with the Sisters of Silence being basically outcasts and breaking in some ways with the Inquisition. But there have also been incidents where the transhumanism involved in making a Adeptus Astartes, a space marine, is considered to be something beyond mortality, beyond the Emperor's guidance. That these things may serve the Imperium, but perhaps they aren't of the Imperium. And so there is a mix of those on board who regard a space marine in full armor moving through their ranks as a holy moment and stop to pray, and others who will not move from his path and instead force him to go around them. It is strange in such a strange place, but you can see that he's moving among this market, checking for the swords, and as you catch up with Mercutio Borghese, he says, "Another failure. They do not have what I am looking for here. Have you come to a decision, DSAT team?"
We have. We are going to try out this new role.
As you say that, he reaches for the blade he uses aboard his assault bike and says, "Then kneel, the three of you."
Velamris kneels.
Yeah, there's no hesitation.
As you kneel, looking up at this thing that was created by the God Emperor, the gene seed, the essence of Rabute Gilamon, the concept of super warriors, there is a sense of irreverence, perhaps, in how he's treated you thus far. In the same way that you've seen his nominal master Chaderius Darkwind. Chaderius shows up in a coat and has coffee with you and occasionally has dinner. And when he needs to appear formally, you've literally seen him send a bodyguard or like a body double out in full dress uniform to pretend to be him. This guy doesn't have that. So what he's doing here is shifting from the mullet mode. He's going from party to business. What's happening here is Imperium business. And at this, pulling out a sword in the middle of a crowded marketplace full of sororitas and priests, everyone is now aware that this is a space marine. This is a oh boy, I want to say Adeptus Sororitas.
Adeptus Astartes.
Adeptus Astartes, thank you. My brain is dying. He basically does something like knighting each of you with one tap on the shoulder and says, if you would serve aboard the ship, then do well. When we arrive, you will have full use of a shuttle from this ship. If you wish to base out of the light of dawn, then you may do so. If you need transit to the planet, or you wish to switch your camp to any of the other ships in the Rogue Trader's fleet, you need simply ask. You have a writ from the captain extending your authority.
So it wasn't clear what he was looking for here. You mentioned they were looking for swords. What was he looking for
Yeah,
again?
so now that the situation's done, he sheathes his sword again and is looking around. He's looking at power swords that
Oh, it's
are...
ironic.
They're being... it's not like they're being sold. These swords are basically like for exhibition, right? Like these are the cast-offs of failed creations of the like local manufacturers. He seems to be looking through them for a specific kind of sword. Like it's not, he definitely wants a power sword. It's just that the shape of what he's looking for seems to be really specific.
Lord Borghese, if you tell us what you're looking for, maybe in our new role seeking profit and trade for the Rogue Trader, we could keep an eye out for it as well.
He turns to you,
would...
full armor, takes his helmet off. He's definitely got that grinning smirk, and he says, what I am looking for is a Rough Rider's cavalry saber. It is a power sword that is curved, efficient for use on horseback or whatever form of mount you have, or perhaps on an assault bike. Power swords are difficult to come by in my chapter, and they are given only to the most experienced. I would privately acquire one before the decades require me to return back and continue my service with the Brazen Consuls, which I definitely knew what chapter I was from.
Sized for you or sized for a Rough Rider?
He laughs and just says, I am looking for someone capable of creating the sword. That is why I'm looking through these cast-offs for one who has the capability to make what I am looking for.
But for you then?
Yes,
use.
for me.
I take out like a little black notebook and just scribble some notes. And
He glances over and says, fulfilling favors for those higher in status than you is a good start, Sister Holly. Or should I say, team leader Holly.
I think that just Holly is fine for now.
Very well.
Velamris is gonna speak up. He says something. Let me see. I too actually would like a power sword. Something about my recent travails has led me down a certain path. I don't think I could wield a weapon as described for your personal needs, my lord, but rest assured, we will find something to make it work.
When you say that, the person whose stand this is goes, "Brrr, 56K no modem noises," and steps out from behind the jangling failed creations and goes,
Did someone say power sword?
did someone say they wished a power sword? If you have coin, such things can be acquired.
I would like a power sword for myself. And if you are capable of making this saber for our lord here, that would be wondrous and fortuitous for all
I
involved.
mean, this guy looks at the Space Marine and is like physically sizing him up and says, "The forges on board are not sufficient for this particular cause. When
110.
when we arrive at Titan's Lair, you may find that the forges on that world will be more than sufficient to carry out your particular request. Would you like me to file a new spheric report on your behalf?"
Error 404, forge not found.
Velamris would like, please, anything we can do to expedite the process. In the meantime, a standard sword, non-powered, for myself would be something else I need, if you have one.
Oh my goodness. I can't remember what these things are called. I think they're called Electus.
Electus, yeah.
The electrical
They
tattoos.
are Mechanicus implants that allow you to fast pass or use your wallet automatically. You know, am I saying the right thing?
Yeah, they use things
Electus.
like access control as well. Like
Yes.
you can just hold it
So
up to a door, for example.
while you're
and scans it,
negotiating with this guy, he basically gives you the 411 on Titan's Lair. He's like, if you wish to even go through doors on Titan Lairs, it would be wise for at least one of your members to be fitted for Electu inductors. And he's like looking you over, Velamris. He's like pulled out a tape measure and is just like measuring your arm length and goes, "Perhaps you would like an Electu inductor placed underneath your skin. The palm is the least hurtful place. It will be agonizing, but you'll survive the process, surely, grafting to your nerves."
I have plenty of experience with pain, most recently, in fact. Out of character, how big are these tattoos? Because obviously now, so Velamris has, up until very recently, been unremarkable. He doesn't have tattoos on purpose, and now getting this, he doesn't want something that's going to be, discretion is where
They
he's
go
going
on your
here.
hands, or if you have a mechadendrite, they go on that.
Okay.
I mean, I'd hate for the
I'm
tattoo
kind
on
of
your
shooting
hand
from the
to
hip here. I
clash.
don't really remember how this works. I'm
Sure,
pretty sure
sure.
it's not even in the Imperium Maledictum book. I think it's in the old Rogue Trader book. But
Yeah.
I mean,
they can be
I'd hate
anywhere
for
on the
your,
body.
I'd hate for your hand tattoo to clash with your new facial scar.
Does Rassie? I would love it if Rassie said that in
No,
character. That
there's
would be
no way
amazing.
Rassie would say that. Rassie's not funny like that way. Rassie's situationally funny.
Yeah.
But they can be anywhere in the body, and they don't need to be anything bigger than a credit card.
Okay, yeah. Velamris will get one, and he'll want it put on the basically on the inside of the wrist.
just to be clear, this is going to be like an hours-long agonizing surgery you'll be awake for.
I have literally walked through flames with
Wow, okay,
flammable
look, I'm
oil.
the game master. I was there for it. You don't need to step to me,
It's,
okay?
it's not like a tattoo. It's like they flay your wrist.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
plant stuff under the thing, and then like go and harvest skin from somewhere else to do like a skin graft.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he says, so Velamris is like, I will take the Elect-2 and any arming sword that you might have, which, if I'm not mistaken, an arming sword is basically a long sword, but slightly shorter and maybe perhaps a little bit wide. Or
We're talking
less
about a power
wide.
weapon still, though, right?
No, well, for the moment, if he can, so.
You could probably afford one.
Oh, I could
Power
definitely
sword.
afford one. The rarity is 25% if we're treating this as a shrine world,
You
which I
don't need
believe we are.
you don't need to roll for rarity. You're right here, and a dude has offered you one.
Then I will absolutely take the power sword if he has one.
Okay.
I believe they're $3,000. I'd have to look it back up, but it's like $3,000 for one. And then also at some point, not right now, obviously, but Velamris will be approaching Borghese to increase his melee capabilities.
You want a space marine to kick you in the face?
And-
I need, well, if not him, then a trainer, because I spent like basically almost 600 experience points on increasing weapon skill and melee advances. So
Okay.
I've got to do the actual, in character bit now.
He
I
has
find it-
that his montage.
I find it incongruous, Velamris, that you spent so long building up that sniper rifle,
Mhm.
and now you're wanting to master the sword.
And
Is this?
known
Are you saying this in
exclusively for
character? I
using
feel like you
pistols.
are.
Sorry?
Are you asking that in character?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it.
Velamris just kind of offers something of a smirk, and he says, "The more ways I could serve, the better." But I, in lieu of saying I have an aspiration, becoming an arch-militant might be one.
Very well.
While
So-
you're saying that, the dude who's like taking your measurements just says, "Arch militant, huh? You're going to need better cybernetics than this weak flesh."
One step at a time, my mechanicus friend.
You happen to have the Ren Raku catalog handy?
He says, "I will have the new sphere on Titan's lair prepared for your arrival. They will offer you many benefits. New arms, new legs, perhaps a weapon mount."
I think
You
when he
know,
says
I think-
weapon mount, he gets like in his head, he gets this little vision of an image, a pict of Nero the Blade with his over-the-shoulder. I'm going to say Gauss rifle. I know it wasn't a Gauss rifle.
His
but...
hot shot.
Yeah, what-
Yeah.
His hot shot. Yeah.
And the way he would just whirl on people even when he wasn't looking at them.
Yeah, there's nothing like having a shoulder-mounted 4-foot-long rifle that can only see in 270 degrees. That's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. I don't think that's the direction Velamris wants to go, but okay.
Have you seen the film Predators?
Uh,
Because
that the one
there is a problem with having a shoulder-mounted weapon that can see 360 degrees. Definitely in that film, it's highlighted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
does he shoot himself in the head at some point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's
that the one with
spectacularly
Adrian Brody?
twice.
is that the one where they had like all these serial killers and whatnot dropped on
Yeah.
a predator world?
No.
No. This was the oh wow, the way that I refer to the movie. I don't know if I want to say that on stream. I'll wait till afterwards.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Listen, the Predator series has had some problematic movies. Don't they
Yes.
drop a Predator in the ghetto in Predator 2?
Yes, with
Okay.
Danny Glover.
In the
And he
middle of
gets
a
the
LA drug war.
1700s
Yeah.
revolver, or
That's
not
right,
revolver,
yeah.
but the flintlock at the
The
end.
hottest summer. Yeah.
So Velamris gets the Elect 2 and a power sword, yes?
I do need you to roll a rapport haggling roll.
Rapport haggling. Well,
Yes.
I have fate points. I might as well roll them. So
Now,
let's
hold
see.
on. Just because I want you to fail this and pay more. Let me just say, we do still have endeavors to roll for before you blow through all your fate.
That's fine. I have 4. I was only going to use like 1, maybe 2.
Okay, whatever you want to do, then do whatever you want, Velamris. Hope you roll a fucking 99.
I'm going to use 1 for advantage. And 2 for the extra SL. Is that right? Can
I
I
think
do
you
that?
can only spend 1 for extra. I don't know.
Yeah,
that
you
can stack it like
can
that.
only do like 1 reroll plus 1 SL.
Yeah.
You can only do 1. You can do each thing, but you can only do 1 at each of them once.
Okay. So just
And you can just
yeah.
wait. You can wait to spend the +1 SL to see if it would do anything on your roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like if you
okay.
fail by 3, then there's no point in
Yeah,
spending
yeah.
1 to only fail by 2, maybe.
Yeah. So the only thing you do before the roll is advantage.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got it.
Wow. You got a 7.
Yeah. Versus a 26.
You can reduce the price by 10%, or if you throw in that extra, you get another 5%.
The extra fate point?
Like
Yes.
an extra fate point for more success, extra degree of success.
Let me get to that page. The power sword is 3,000. I'll take it at 2,700. So the 10%.
Don't
Can you
we
drop a
have...
power sword onto my sheet and a regular sword since I did purchase one? They're common.
Don't we have... Doesn't one of our patron bonuses have to do with purchasing armor? Or the quality of armor?
Tag in the end. Sorry, because I can't see the patron.
Yeah.
What features does the patron got again, Arthur?
Ooh.
Like positive, like boons?
You've chosen Connoisseur. You get advantage on availability tests and have an option to acquire equipment with the mastercrafted or ornamental quality. Drop Squad. air support.
Did we get air support?
Yes, you
Yeah.
have a
Like a Valkyrie sort of flies
Valkyrie.
around.
Yes, to drop you.
Yeah, we took that instead of getting a group of more people for you to hate being around.
Yeah, but as you said, connoisseur there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can
You could get a
re-roll to try to acquire.
mastercrafted or ornamental. I believe ornamental is the
Yeah.
one for armor.
So
I'll
the
take a
question is that-
mastercrafted power sword for sure.
I mean, the question is, does it mean that you get that upgrade for free, or that you have the opportunity to get the
You have
upgrade
the
because of?
option to acquire that equipment.
Yeah, so I think that Mastercrafted adds significant amount to the price as well. Like it might even double the price, which is worth it, I'd say, for a power sword.
Yeah,
If you've
I'll
got
have to
6,000.
defer to the GM on that one. How do you want to handle that? Because it's 3,000 for a standard power sword.
Well, I'm currently looking up what it costs to get an Electu.
Okay, Mastercrafted adds, it says at least 500 solos to the cost of the item. So
That's
that's how
fine.
much more it adds. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, so mastercrafted power sword, and I got to drop another 500 off of my thing.
Yeah.
It's given the the things that I would expect around here. I wanted to see how easy or hard it would be to try to get some fancy armor.
The Mastercrafted weapons give you +1 SL on attacks.
$10,287.
They're going to charge you 800 for your Electu inductors.
I'm sorry, how much?
800.
800. Okay. Okay. And I see a new weapon on my sheet. Is that the
I haven't put anything over there.
oh, that I put that on there. That needs to come off. Junket.
Just a minute.
You have a flamer, don't you, Kain?
I do. Trying to find the table. I'm trying to figure what I got to roll to try to see if they have armor here. It's been a long time since I bought stuff.
Is the Mastercraft? Oh, here we go.
Availability. Here we go.
So if I oh, wrong one.
Wow, this is great radio. Before we get too deep into the shopping, how about we do the endeavors? Because you have all the time in between sessions to do your shopping.
Yeah.
Does that
What
sound
page?
good?
I mean, I know. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm trying to remember what page the endeavors are on.
Oh yeah. Let me scroll back up. Endeavors are on page
209.
229. Yeah, the 229 is events, and then endeavors is that same area.
So we need to roll the events first, I believe, don't we?
Yes,
'Cause they-
before
'cause they-
selecting an
'cause-
endeavor, each player first rolls on the events table to see what surprising things are thrown at you.
And that's just a standard 100,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. This is not a roll that we can use fate on.
I don't think so. This is just bad things happen to you. Or sometimes good things, I guess.
I get a foreboding vision.
Indeed.
Victory celebration.
Here's to hoping I don't get shot in the head. Oh, that's a really high roll. I don't.
Very important visitor.
Ooh.
Oh,
Your Magos that put you into your blank, I'm going to murder every psyker there is. Shows up.
You may choose to. Oh, geez. Let me choose to make a -30 social test. Oh. I mean, I write my characters hard. I'm going to try the roll, even though I basically can't pass it.
But AP,
Yes.
any idea about what vision I might receive during my fervent prayers to the Emperor that gives me an extra fate point for the next mission?
I'm thinking. Let me cook. Is there some way I could combine all of these into a single event?
Well, if it helps any, that victory celebration, we can hand wave and say we already did that when we had our little.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Because narratively, we already had our celebratory moment.
Sure. Everyone feels rested and rejuvenated. Of course.
And that frees up trying to figure out how to put these other two guys together.
So, Rassie, I think that what happens is you are in what passes for an office. So this is a troop transport. The Light of Dawn is a troop transport. It's where the shock troops of the Rogue Trader are stored. And your 1,000 troops are but a fraction of the troops that are currently being crammed on board. Like, this thing normally carries upwards of 10,000 men, literally packed like sardines in here to be dropped on whatever world to do the murder that the Lord Captain requires of them.
And from what I understand, it is severely depleted right now.
It is. But there's not a lot of rooms for you, right? Like, you have your... Sorry, that's wrong. You have plenty of officers' rooms to choose from because you only have 4 officers. They're just not big. You know what I mean? You have a closet. And you have the nicest closet. It's still a closet.
He has the walk-in closet.
It's late at night, and you find your mind racing. There's so much going on in your life right now. Of course, you have this upcoming... You've been upgraded to a member of a DSAT team, and you're being given enough rope to hang yourself if you want to become a bridge crew member by not only doing the job you already do, but also showing that you can become a trader good enough to impress a rogue trader, the literal cream of the crop of trades. If you fail at this, if you cost the rogue trader money, you cannot begin to imagine the consequences. You're a former planetary governor who has a vacation house on an alien world that's too far to reach the light of the Astronomicon. Like, your life is so strange. And you recently got propositioned to make Sister of Silence babies with some weird, gothy sisters. So many strange things are happening to you, and you find yourself working out in what passes for the ship's middle of the night in a gymnasium. And the door opens and someone floats in with strange wings of flame, and they have a golden aura around them. And you're pretty sure that floating is not a thing that humans normally do. Nor do humans normally have a golden aura around their armor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Rassie's super curious, trying to decide between, am I so exhausted that I'm beginning to see things, or is this really happening in front of me? Does this person look like a person?
This
Other than
person
the-
looks a lot like some of the statues and iconography you've seen around the ship. Of the living saint Don Latenya. I really wish I had Henley on speed dial right now, but it's quite late in Poland, I assure you.
What does it look like this person is doing? This person just
Hovering
randomly also showed up to
ominously
gym?
towards you with one knee slightly up, sort of Solasta style fly floating towards you.
I think Rassie will put down whatever weight or whatever, and we'll get up and we'll take a reverent, has no idea what the protocol is here. This is totally out of Rassie's death. So I think Rassie, in a moment of I don't know what to do, will salute.
With a strangely Australian accent, speaking in High Gothic, which you understand, she says, "So, you are the one that I have difficulty seeing. Your fate skeins in ways that I have not seen in hundreds of years. You know what you are?"
I do. I think.
People like you are trouble. Sometimes they're more trouble than they're worth.
I know that my fate in the end might not be what I had hoped it would be, but it does not change my devotion.
Okay, make your -30 social test.
Oh, shit.
Cain, the man they call Cain. He robbed from the rich and he gave to the poor. You want to dump a whole bunch of XP into social suffer?
See, here's the thing, though, right? Like almost all of my XP has been spent on face skills so far.
Perfect,
So,
perfect.
would you take intuition people to try to navigate this conversation?
No, I don't think so. I think rapport, some sort of fellowship, yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's rapport.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and spend the first of probably all of my fate points.
Okay, sure.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah, I will spend another fate point to get another degree of success.
Ooh, 4. It's going from the big 4.
Okay. You can write down that you have a +2 with a faction. That faction is the Living Saint Don Latenya.
Nice.
If you need to call on somebody's influence, if you need a creditor when you're buying something, if you need to bully your way past security, you have impressed a Living Saint as she sees that you are a disruptor to plans, and that may be of use to the Imperium. That you may be a critical piece that the God Emperor has placed in her path. She says nothing while leaving you standing there saluting. She doesn't salute you back to release you from that either.
Yeah.
She simply hovers out of her gymnasium and goes back to whatever she was doing on the ship.
I think there's probably a solid 10, 15 minutes of just absolute mind blown. It's like he's still there holding it for no one. Just like, what? Wow. I need a recap. He leaves the gym.
Sister Holly,
Yes.
you travel through the warp. You pray for a vision. What is it you seek a boon from the Emperor for?
I think that Holly's aspirations are way too far-reaching right now. You know, she's flown too high and has not yet gotten burned. So she's still trying to, shoot for the stars at the moment. So I don't know that she has any particular. Yeah, she's just focused on the next step in her grand plan to elevate herself way above her own station. I don't really know that a boon can come out of that. Certainly, if she feels like she has somebody's, the eye of the Emperor or something, then that might explain the extra fate point, because that takes up to 6 for the next game, basically. But I don't know that necessarily translates to like direct action, more just supreme overconfidence.
You pray. You search for nothing in particular. You just pray because you are praying. And you are guided with a vision that hammers into you. You see a world with red smoke for skies. Flames or perhaps meteors rotate above and occasionally crash down onto a battlefield where you see strange soldiers. They appear human but larger, almost like Primaris Space Marines, but twisted, their skin ashen and gray, with strange nobules, sometimes horrifying abominations of flesh, other times like glass containers that are injecting a green liquid into their skin. Among them is a man who stands taller than normal. Perhaps he's a Space Marine himself. He wears power armor. He carries a skull about his belt and a rod. He has huge shoulder pauldrons, but instead of any known iconography of Space Marine, it bears the 8 points of chaos and a skull in the center of it. And he has a almost tech marine-like tendrils and mechadendrites coming out of a backpack with more green liquid. The figure turns towards you and says, "So, you're in their realm now. You seek to stop the Crooked One. The one who a stitch in time did not save once nor nine. You will need guidance. I will send it to you, interloper. Now go. Leave my dreams to me." And you see him reaching his hand out, and it becomes larger and larger until it encompasses your whole vision, and you wake up sweating.
Not at all creepy. Not at all.
I just want to know if James knows what was going on there.
I have some ideas.
Yeah? You want a top deck one for us?
Not because I've got to go shortly, so maybe we say
Wow,
that.
I can't even give it a tell you that. Never mind, doesn't matter. Comment section, let me know what you think the vision was about and who that was. You decide. And you know what? I'll take the best idea. No, I know who it was.
Crowdsourcing it.
That actually would be an incredible way to GM a game as a game master. Be like, I'm going to give a really cryptic vision, and then I'll let the YouTube comment section decide what I actually meant with it.
And who the big bad
Coolest
is.
way to do Twitch plays D&D. All right. Let's it sounds like you have to go right now then, James.
Like in the next sort of 10 minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, I can certainly do my endeavors.
Yeah, let's do the endeavors.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with you then.
So I'm going to guess that was Fabius Ball.
That
by
was
the way.
Fabius Bile, yes.
Yeah, thought so.
So you can choose to forego one of your endeavors to collectively perform a group endeavor of Campaign of Whispers, combat training, bolster defenses, or do do two individual endeavors for yourself.
Unfortunately, I want to do 2, so that will eliminate.
Very
our
well.
group
2 for
one.
individual? I gotta find a second one.
Yes.
Actually.
Well, since it sounds like you know what you want to do, James, let's go ahead and talk about the first one.
All right. The first thing I want to do is consolidate influence. I want to try this one again. I failed last time to consolidate my Astra Militarum. I've got 3 contacts to make them into 1 permanent,
Very well.
which is a rapport test.
Yes.
I will spend a fate for advantage on the roll,
Yes.
and I get +1 SL because of my ornamental staff. Okay, that succeeds. Well, I can convert. I can get rid of my contacts, which was Preacher Ishmael Flag, D'Angelo the Crusader, and Layla the Missionary. And now I have 2 influence there. And then the second thing I want to do is I want to consult a savant because I'm wanting to commission an ornamental Inferno pistol, but I need to find a contact to do it first. So that will be a -10 rapport inquiry test.
Because it's restricted?
No, it's -20 if it's restricted, but it's not restricted or heretical. It's just hard to come by.
Okay. All right.
It's -10. Oh no, so
it's
oh,
-10
you're right. No,
if
sorry.
it's
So
restricted.
it's -10 restricted, -20 if it's heretical. Okay, so
Yes.
it's just a +0 then. That's it. Yeah, it's not
Yep,
restricted.
you're good.
All right, I will spend also a fate point on that one.
Very well.
Bill. Okay, so I have found somebody that can point me to the right person to commission a Inferno pistol in the future.
Can it be the same one that sold Velamris the
Do you
power
think
sword?
a guy who makes power swords is also a guy who makes Inferno pistols? There's more than one person who forges.
No,
things.
but he would know the next guy over that might.
All right, Sister Holly goes to that guy and he goes, "Yes, I know a guy. If your solars are good," and then like he takes her solars and like tests them and bites into them and goes, "This test was worthless. I had my tongue replaced years ago." Yes, you get the contact details for a adept by the name of Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, and there it goes. Oh, we got him while he was drinking. Incredible. Yes, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot has all of your Inferno pistol needs, and will have one available for your completion when you arrive at your destination in Season 2, Episode 1.
8,500 solars.
Damn.
That's big money right there.
That's big money, yeah.
That's
That's
quite a bit.
Is there
Well,
anything in particular you want customized about it? You know, like the
Well, I'm
grip
going for the ornamental quality. So
Yes.
so it's gonna be more of a showpiece than a functional thing, you know. But I want it to stand out. So you know, it's very much like a, you know, like customized to her
pearl
grip as such.
handle.
And,
Look at that chrome inlay, the finish. Sorry, I'm entering Metal Gear Solid 3 territory where he's
yeah,
like,
that's all right.
look at the slide. It's perfect for CQC. All right. Who knows the one or two things that they'd like to do right now?
You good, Velamris?
I'm good. I'm
Go
good
ahead.
if okay. Velamris is going to do exhaustive drilling, and I'm going to use that as my narrative excuse for why suddenly his weapon skill is increased by 6 points and now knows and has 3 advances in melee.
I definitely
he will
would
be-
love for you to be like dual wielding your power sword and regular sword, Sword Art Online style, attacking like the Wolverine, just wildly flailing. Well, the person who's fighting you is just in full armor, Mercutio Borghese, like sipping tea with one hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I
fending
think that's
you
how it
off.
starts off. I think that's how it starts off. He's just in there flailing, like he has no idea. You know, probably getting knocked on his ass every now and again, and then finally, you know, he starts
Oh yeah,
figuring
you
it out.
end your training by putting a cut on his face, and he goes, "You're ready."
What that does mechanically is I get during the next mission, whenever using that power sword, if I can ignore any fumbles.
That's a good weapon to ignore fumbles on for sure.
Yeah.
I also prefer not to slice my own arm off, or to use a pistol to shoot myself in the head.
Yeah. The other one I want to do is Devout Worship. And I feel like that also works because Velamris is doing a lot of, like, I wouldn't say self-exploration, but definitely trying to figure out his place in this new world that he sees. So he's going to be spending a lot of time in services and meditation and whatnot, trying to figure out this idea of being a knight, the idea of sanguinius, the idea of sacrifice, especially to the level of Sanguinius's sacrifice. I think there's a certain aspiration, not necessarily that he wants to throw his life away, but like a meaningful, impacting sacrifice.
Sure.
And that I have to do a challenging lore test, and if successful, I get an extra fate point for the next mission.
Do you have theology as a sub skill?
I do not, so this is
Okay.
going to be a straight lore, but I do have an advance in lore for some reason, and I'm going to use one of my fate points for
Sure.
advantage, and I get a +1 success.
Okay. You increase your fate total by 1 until the end of the mission.
Boom.
Rassie. Let's continue the speed run.
I would like to consult a savant because I would like to commission some Tempestus plate.
Ooh. Look at this fancy guy. He wants to become a scion. Very well. Go ahead. Is that restricted?
I don't think so. It's exotic.
Well, they're like drugs, that sort of stuff now.
Okay. So I need to make a rapport test.
It's an inquiry test.
Inquiry
Yeah,
test.
which is a suburb
Okay.
of rapport.
Okay.
Normally it says rapport inquiry, but this just
Well, that's the problem with this book. It doesn't half the time. It just says the sub skill. You're like, you got to go look up which one it is. I had to look up which one it was.
a good day to die.
All
You
right.
push
Well,
that into being a 0. That would be a success.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yes, use all your fate points. Yes.
And I'm now out of hit points.
You find yourself wandering the bazaars of this ship once again, but almost as if guided by fate. You briefly see the angelic form of the living saint out of the corner of your eye. You turn, and just when you're about to leave the market, you stop, you take 2 steps back, and you go, hold on a second. You don't see the living saint there, but you do see a guy that's like working on an old battered piece of Tempestor Scion armor, and just like, and as you go over and speak with him, it does appear that he could repair and refurbish this if he only had the resources to do so. Monetary resources.
How fortunate then that we have met.
Rassie makes it rain.
Yeah. I would like that mastercraft. So, going for that mastercraft to pester plate.
All right, let's talk about your second.
The second is the commissioning. I have to consult savant.
Oh, you have to consult, and
my
then
second
commission.
is the
Yes,
commission.
Yeah,
yes.
unless the GM says you already know somebody, basically.
No, you
can
don't know
skip
somebody.
So those are my
I
two
love how
endeavors.
you've managed to do a sword, armor, and a gun. You can't find common ground anywhere to just have one guy do all your stuff.
That
All
makes
right.
sense though, because a lot of crafts.
And we're going for the extreme stuff too. We're going for like
Yes.
exotic
Yeah.
weapons and armor. You know.
So the normal cost for this plate is 4,000, and then the mastercraft adds
500.
500, so $4,500, 4,500 solars.
Okay, let's see. Where is the thing that tells me how much XP I owe you for coming through a session? Not in the GM
Rewards?
section, strangely.
Isn't there a chapter for rewards?
Yeah, maybe. That sounds right. It's just been a while since I've opened this book, you know.
Since we're on a depleted troop transport, could I also just like roll for something that's like to see if I can find something to buy?
Yeah. I mean,
Sure,
this place
one.
counts as a shrine world.
So I think the rare. So for
I need to get the XP award so I can go.
Yes, yes. Let's just say everybody gets 50 XP. That sounds like a reasonable amount.
I also get extra because I had a short-term goal of acquire a power sword.
Friends at home, we must leave so that James can go. We'll be back when we're back. Have a good night.